Hey babes, welcome back to the channel. Tonight I'm going to be telling you guys why I loved California. Like, I know a lot of you may have been wondering, you look like you loved it there, you look like you had a good time there, why would you leave? I'm going to tell y'all now 8 reasons, I thought of them off the top of my head of why I love California. So let's just get right into the video. So guys, I'm going to be looking at this little journal. Salma's mom actually gave me this journal like 2 years ago for Christmas. I never really wrote in it, but now I started jotting like, small things in there, things I'm gonna say throughout the video, stuff like that. But it's so cute, and the paper is like textured. And I think it's made out of recycled paper or something like that, but it's a super cute journal. Anyway, I digress. So one of the first reasons I moved from California to now Atlanta is because I had no desire to live on the West Coast. So I don't know, I probably mentioned it in a few videos. I always knew I was gonna hate California because I never envisioned myself there. A lot of places that I end up moving, I've seen myself living there. Like, I can see how I get along with people, how I like the environment. California was so far-fetched for me, I never imagined myself living there. So I was like, I'm not gonna like it because I had no desire to be there. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that our apartment that we lived in, it changed management within like half of our lease term because the first manager or the managing property was terrible. The guy, he was there all the time, but it seemed like you could never get in touch with him. He actually lived in the building. I kid you not, I have a story. A guy was moving in one day. He scheduled a time to move in. The leasing guy, who was always there, lives in the building, was asleep. Forgot to set his alarm. The guy's like banging on the door. He can't get in the facility because he doesn't have all his keys and stuff yet. But our management forgot he was even moving in, and he's asleep. So that was one reason why I didn't like them. And also, we had a big issue with our apartment never getting hot when we moved in, and it was super cold. So our apartment would never warm up, and we would keep telling him, hey, can you have the maintenance crew come out? Hey, can you have the HVAC people come out and check on this because our apartment is just not heating up. And it doesn't matter how high we turn the thermostat, it's not heating up. He was like, oh yeah, they'll come. He even used to give us times where they would come, and they would never come because he wasn't doing his job. He wasn't doing it. He wasn't upholding his end of the bargain. So they would just never come, but he would keep telling us, oh yeah, they're coming. So we didn't like the management. The second management that came right before we left, they were actually really nice. That guy didn't live on the property, but he was always able to get in contact with. He was always around. So I like the second property manager better than the first, but that's one thing that really turned me off was when I first got there, their property manager was trash. The third thing is when I left Texas, which is when I moved to California, I was living in Texas. So when I left Texas, I was working as a microbiology technician, and I loved it. That was the first job I had in a laboratory fresh out of college, and I was enjoying it. So when I got to California, my whole intent was I'm gonna find another technician position where I can hone in on these skills because I really enjoyed this position I had in Texas. Y'all, I searched Indeed up and down. I searched LinkedIn up and down. The only technician position I was finding was for optometry or ophthalmologist. And I'm just like, that's not what I wanted to do. I really had my heart set on going back into the laboratory, doing some testing, and just honing in on those skills. So I was basically forced to enter the optical industry because that was all that was presenting itself to me at that time. So that's another reason I didn't like California, because I couldn't pursue the actual industry that I wanted to be in. Also, I don't know if it's because I'm from the South and I moved somewhere so different, but I was having a hard time meshing and making friends. So the first office I worked at, extremely diverse. It had ages, it had people of Latino descent, it had Caucasians, it had me as a brown girl. So it just had all different type of races in there, but I was finding it hard to gel with people. So I was being quiet. That's one thing about me. If I feel like I haven't made a friend or if I don't feel comfortable talking to you, I just be quiet. Like, I do my work and I go home, literally. I don't say nothing to nobody. So that's kind of what I was doing at that first job, and it was just so boring to me. So that's one reason why I left that job after only 3 months, because I was bored. I couldn't make friends. They weren't the easiest people to talk to because we didn't grow up the same. Half of the people that lived there have been living in Cali their whole life. So me being new and telling them, oh, I don't like it, they're like, oh, things will change, but it's not like I'm gonna help you make the change. Like, I even think they did offer to hang out with me outside of work, but no one ever pursued that. The most thing I got to hanging out with them outside of work is when our job had a Christmas party. Everybody was at this restaurant with their significant others. It was really fun, but that's the only time I ever hung out with them outside of work. Same with my job I had before I left. We were friends, but we didn't hang out outside of work, and I feel like that's when you know you're really friends with somebody. Like, I can really trust you, I can really kick it with you outside of work. So I really didn't make friends. So that's one reason why I didn't like California. And the next thing is kind of a pro and a con. So I couldn't drive. So I was working in San Francisco, living in Oakland. So if you guys know, that's like maybe 45 minutes, you know, apart. But you have to go across this busy bridge, and I was a little bit nervous to drive like that because I'm used to driving in traffic. Like, I drive on the highway here in Atlanta, no problem, but the roads are wider, and I feel like there's not as many cars and as many people to deal with, because in California there's so many pedestrians, y'all. I still haven't got used to watching out for pedestrians because there's so many people walking, because a lot of people don't drive in California because of the public transit system. So that's why I say not being able to drive is like a pro and a con. It's a con because the public transportation areas are kind of dirty, so it's not like you would choose to drive or to choose to ride a bus rather than drive your own personal vehicle. But then I say it was a pro because you don't have to drive and spend gas. You don't have to drive and risk getting into a wreck, because the train which I was taking, or the BART that I was taking, goes underground. So I really didn't have to worry about having an accident unless the trains kind of collided, but that never happened. So that's why I wasn't able to drive. That was another reason why I didn't really like it. Like I said, it was kind of a pro and a con, but I'm so used to driving everywhere, it felt weird to not drive. So at the beginning of 2020, I actually was in a bit of a depression. So after living in California for like 3 months at this point, not making any friends, not finding myself calling California home. Mind you, my job was like literally an hour commute. And some of that is walking, some of that is riding the BART, but it's like an hour commute from my house. So it was always like, oh, I hate waking up so early in the morning to go to an unfulfilling job and does not feel satisfied with being here. So it kind of made me fall into a depression. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to do anything. And this is actually a couple months before COVID happened, where I was stuck in the house. But I was already feeling like I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to try to make friends. I was downloading all these apps I thought would help me make some friends or cause me to be in some grouping interactions, but I still wasn't happy. I still wasn't, you know, I didn't even go to any of the things because you would have to RSVP, and then so many people RSVP, and then you're on the wait list, and then, you know, no one ever drops the event and you can't go. Or if they do drop it, it's like the day of, and I have to decide to go to an event and meet some strangers, or to stay at home in the comfort of my own home. I'm gonna choose this one. I'm gonna stay at home. So I fell into a depression, just being there, being by myself, no family, nobody but me and Simon. And Simon is working. It's not like we have all 24 hours of the day together. So the times that we were apart at work, it just made me grow even more and more depressed being in California. So that was the first time I had ever suffered going through a depression in my life, I feel like. When I moved to Texas, it was not bad. The adjustment period was just fine. I lived with my family for about 3 months, and then I got my own place. So I just never had this happen. So when I moved to California, already not liking it, and then I fell into depression, I was like, okay, pump your brakes. I don't need to be here. I need to figure out a way where I can get out and move somewhere where I feel comfortable, because I don't feel comfortable here. And then this kind of segues into COVID. So COVID freaking happened, and I wasn't able to meet anybody to go outside, to go to dinner, to enjoy California. So I lived in California for a total of a year, and I don't know any areas really outside of where I could live and walk to, because I wasn't able to experience anything. COVID happened for like the last 6 to 8 months that I was in California, so it really limited me in really exploring California. So I can't even tell you anything that's fun or that's popular because I didn't experience it. And so I know that's kind of like, okay, so you moved from a place that you never even really experienced, so how do you know you're gonna like it? Y'all, from the first 4 months I was there, like all this stuff happened and I knew I wasn't gonna like it. So it doesn't even matter that I never got a chance to go to the club, which I actually did go to the club once, now that I think about it. And it was really fun. It really was. I went with one of the girls Simon knew from work. She's an African girl. She actually is from Atlanta, but she was in San Francisco as well. I went with her and some of her friends, and it was actually a really fun time. But that was the one time I went out in California. So yeah, I just didn't like it. After COVID, it was like, okay, this place is dead to me. How do I get out? And then the same with the not making friends, not being able to drive, COVID happening, not being able to experience anything. I just never felt like I fit in. Like I said, it never felt like home. It never felt like a place that I wanted to be at for a long period of time. So even that year was a stretch for me, because honestly, I feel like 6 months in, I was telling Simon, you know, how would you feel if I moved back to Texas for a little while until we figure out another state to live in? Because I just did not like it. And it's so weird, because when you see the commercials of California, you got the Cali vibes, you got the surfer dudes, you got the legal weed, everybody just chill. But like, everybody kind of has their own bubble, and it's hard to infiltrate that bubble and to become friends, like genuine friends. And then a lot of people are so flaky. As you've seen with my car company, they were flaky, and they're supposed to be professionals. So like, everyone was just a little bit flaky, and like, it was just hard to gel, as I mentioned before. So I just never quite fit in. So it was like, why am I trying to stay somewhere where I just don't fit in? The one thing people really loved about me is that I was from the South, so I sounded country as heck. But people seem to have loved my accent, so that kind of made me stand out amongst everybody else. But I just didn't enjoy being there. So yeah, guys, that has been all. That is the reason why I left California. That's the reason why I'm in Atlanta right now. Atlanta has treated me good so far. So far, so good. We do plan to live here for about a year. We plan to, but it can always be elongated if things were to happen. Like I told y'all before, I am studying to take the GRE again. So if I do happen to get into school out here, then we're kind of cemented here for another 2 years on top of the year we had already planned to be here. But I'm really excited. I've been doing some networking, so if you guys know, in the last vlog I posted, I think I met Lex Lowe. And then right here I insert a picture of Red from Bad Girls Club. I actually met her today. She was hosting an event for someone else who has a really strong following, Dr. Flagler. She's a really strong following here in Atlanta, and I didn't even really know of her until the event today. I don't have a picture with her, but I did see her, if that counts. But yeah, so I've been trying to get out more, try to be more social, because unlike California, Atlanta, baby, she busted wide open. And then we tell her bring it back. She is busted wide open. So it's not hard for me to find events to go to. I'm actually following some Instagram pages that post daily events that are going on in Atlanta. So club scenes, all that type of stuff. So yeah, I would say I'm adjusting here way better than I did in California. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to come to you with this quick, easy video and just put it all on the table of why I left California and now why I'm in Atlanta. Hey. So as always, guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye.